Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Binman and today you are tuned in for a book talk inspired makeup featuring the lovely Vanessa Van Edwards and her amazing makeup, so stay tuned. I've already washed my face and done my skincare, so let's start by neutralizing the face. We are doing our book cover from Muse by Vanessa Van Edwards, so we need to make sure that everything is photograph ready. So I'm going to take my Tinted Smudge Proof eyeshadow base and take that from my lash line all the way up to my brow using my ring finger, because our ring finger is our weakest finger. Now we are going to do a little corrector from Bobbi Brown, light to medium bisque underneath the eye, again with the ring finger. You can always wipe off your finger on a towel that you have nearby, or just kind of by working it into the skin a little bit more, just so that it's not super saturated with a previous product. And I should mention that it is very, very important that your hands are clean before you start touching your face. If you have not washed your hands recently and you start touching your face a lot, you can easily spread bacteria, you can cause sickness, not only for yourself but also on your product. So it's really important that everything stays clean. Same with your brushes. If you haven't washed your brushes in a while, make sure that you're washing them, and make sure that you've seen my how to wash your brush video, which I will link below, because it's very important to keep everything that's constantly touching your face clean. Super, super important. We are moving on from neutralizing the face to just going in with complexion. So Vanessa Van Edwards, I read her other book, Captivate, and her makeup was a little bit more, I don't even want to use the word dramatic because that's not the right word, but it was a little bit more. In Captivate, it feels like it's how she wears her makeup now, which is, it's pretty subtle. She has pretty subtle eyeshadow. She has a nice liner. It looks like it's either gel or liquid in a black, but she has very dark hair. And if you have really dark hair, I feel like you can get away with a black liner a little bit better than someone with lighter hair. So that's something to take into consideration when you are getting inspiration from a book cover, a movie, anything like that. The makeup artist has taken all of this into consideration. We are also going to be taking it into consideration. On the book cover, Vanessa is wearing a black dress. Today I'm wearing a black dress, so I will be playing with that double line that we often use on this channel, which is a liquid liner and a gel liner, just to soften it up a little bit because I have lighter hair. However, if you have darker hair and you're wearing a black dress, it might be cool to do something a little bit more graphic. So we have our concealer on from GIORGIO Armani. We're going to shake up our Seemless foundation from ELDRIDGE, which I love and I'm still loving, and it is my foundation now. So until something else comes out that's better, this is where it is at. The shade range is phenomenal. I would say the hardest thing about ELDRIDGE foundation is simply figuring out what shade you are. But because this foundation has been out for a while, it is much easier to get her color cards, which are actually packed with quite a bit of foundation. She really wants you to be able to find your color without having to order all of the foundation colors. Unless you live in the UK, and then you can just go to a pop-up shop. And she's actually, I think she's in Selfridges now. So go UK. I hope she comes over to America. Going in with the 55, as usual, just kind of dotting my face anywhere where there's any discoloration, especially if you're doing this makeup for photography. Cameras really love red. So if you're wearing anything red, it just is going to pop. But that also comes from the skin. If you have any redness in your skin that tends to pop out in photographs, make sure that you are neutralizing that with your correctors, with the Tinted Smudge Proof eyeshadow base, and also, you know, like on your neck, just bring your foundation down a little bit, because usually people's necks are a little bit of a different color. So again, if this is for photography, for a book cover, or for family photos or anything like that, just make sure that you're thinking about those things. If your ears tend to get a little bit red, I would always put makeup on my bride's ears because her hair was usually pulled back. Then that might be something that you need to consider. I have a little bit left on my hand, but I always like to have a little foundation left on my hand so that I can meld everything together, especially when we do the blush, which is what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to go in with Sweet Enough. This is a MAC Mineralize blush, and I think it is definitely one of my favorite blushes ever. Kind of reminds me of maybe something like Desert Sand from Bobbi Brown, but this one doesn't have as much impact as the Bobbi Brown brush, which I like. I'm just personally not a huge blush person, although it does look really nice. It does look nice to have a little something on the cheeks in a photograph just to pull it all together, especially when you're wearing white or like tan all over, and black especially, for sure. So before we go any further, let's pop on our lip and just make sure that everything is going to be nice and cohesive, because like I said, the eyeshadow is pretty minimal, and at least for this cover it is definitely more about the posture rather than the makeup. Captivate was a close-up. Muse is more about body language and other things. She used quite a bit of red on her cover. Without doing a red lip, she wanted a hint of red on her lips. Muse is going to take down a little bit of that redness and make it more of a dusty cranberry. I think I just made that word up and that's fine. But I want to do my brows now that I've got my lip on. Again, just always checking for balance, and I'm brushing the hairs down. Ever since I did that a few months ago in a tutorial, which is a Lisa Eldridge tip, I realized, no, this is actually lovely. This is great. Just like take the extra few seconds. Listen to Lisa. She knows what she's doing. Red carpet. So I'm just taking this spoolie, which is the little brush on the other end of your brow product, and I'm just filling in any gaps. Definitely as you get older, the brow hair, it either falls out or it grows in interesting ways, as I'm sure we can all attest to, either seeing or experiencing. And then just combing through so that the product is nice and soft, and it doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to have a full-on drawn brow. You just want to fill in those gaps, and then all of a sudden you create a little bit more dimension for the face and a little bit more of a contrast for the camera as well. So now I feel better about jumping into using our bronzer from Natasha Denona with the BK Beauty bronzer brush. And I'm just going to go underneath. Sometimes when your brows aren't done and you do bronzer, you can over bronze or over sculpt because the rest of your face isn't sculpted. I have a pretty good memory of what my eyes look like sculpted, so I know I'm not going to over sculpt. Bringing just a little bit down on the neck. Again, I'm wearing black, so it's for me because I just kind of drain a little bit. There are definitely different colors of blacks, but usually when I wear black, it just kind of resets my face. So it's important to add just a little bit of life back in there. Before I powder, I'm just going to do my eyes, and then powder will kind of be the finishing touch along with a highlighter. So now we're going in with the 201 from BK Beauty into that bronzer, and I'm just going to set up the eye really nicely. So sweeping all the way onto the lid, and then anything I have left in my brush, I'm going to bring that into the socket, which is right here, and then just a little bit above the lid. Vanessa Van Edwards likes a lighter lid, it seems like nowadays. So we are going to go over that with a lighter color. It also looks like she doesn't really use very much shimmer. I've seen several videos of her speaking at various events or various interviews. I'm a huge fan. If you haven't seen those interviews, you really should. She's amazing. Somebody who is very inspiring and definitely deserves all the goodness of the world. Alright, we're using our MAC Connecting Color Palette. We're going to be jumping between these two lines using the mattes because, as I said, she doesn't really use shimmer. And sometimes on a book cover or in photography, it's better to stick to a matte, except maybe on the lid. But we are going to stay true. So I'm going to put this all over the lid, and then I think I'm going to jump over here and grab these two for a little bit more definition in the crease. I'm going to start with Wedge, which is just, I've spoken about Wedge before. I've had Wedge in my tutorials before. It is a great neutral brown. And she absolutely does. She or her makeup artist does the outer third and brings it up into the crease. She has more almond eyes than I do in her bone structure. She has a little bit less space up here. So we are taking inspiration and we are making it work for ourselves. That is the key. It doesn't have to be exactly an exact match. It should enhance our natural features. And just above the socket, I'm bringing that, and I'm always making sure that I'm kind of following this line. So I don't really want to go past the end of my brow. And that just enhances just a little bit. I'm going to go in with a little Swiss chocolate. Swiss chocolate is good for anybody with blue, green, hazel eyes. It's going to pop that color a little bit more. If you're wearing more silver accessories, then something like brun might be a better option, but I have a lot of gold going on, so this is Swiss chocolate's a little bit better, just to kind of stay in the same warm tone family. And I'm barely touching the skin, I'm just creating a little bit of a darker outside because she really likes to emphasize her almond-shaped eyes. So just a little bit on the lid. Because she's a public speaker, I think the beauty of her makeup is that you see her face and you don't see her makeup, and I think that's really how she wants it. She wants it to enhance her job. She doesn't want it to distract. We definitely need to go in with another kind of brush and just kind of blend Swiss chocolate out a little bit. So this is Sonia Kashuk Taper Crease Brush. Now the fluffier your brush, the more your powder is going to go kind of everywhere, but I like that when I'm trying to diffuse a color. And I'm using windshield wiper motions and also circles, that darker color to feel like it's just sitting there. I want it to blend in just a little bit. Okay, now we are ready for liner. So I'm going to start with the Stila. Always shake it up just a little bit, make sure all the pigments are flowing through. I'm going to follow my lower lash line, and I'm just going to do a little kitten wing. Nothing major, and I'm going to get as close as I can to the lash line. I'm just going over the top of that line, softening it up a little bit, and bringing that all the way into that inner water. I want it to feel very smooth and seamless, again, not distracting from the amazing things I'm trying to communicate with. We're going to go in with a little mascara, Beauty Maximizer of course, going all the way into the roots of the lashes. We'll do our tight lining in a moment, and going in with Smokey Eye Mascara, which is a nice formula for longevity. Making sure I am getting into those 3D maximized lashes. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of a lighter shadow so that we're staying true to our inspiration. Going in with the lightest shade in the palette and just lightly tapping right above and then hooking it around our tear duct. We are going to powder and get ready for our photo shoot. Using Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder on the blush powder brush from MAC, just through the center of the face, just to take down the shine but not get red. And I'm going to skip highlighter because I don't see a super glowy skin. I just see a nice kind of velvety skin. So that is the tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching this Vanessa Edwards inspired makeup tutorial. This one is great for anytime you're going to be in front of the video camera, you're getting your photos taken, or you just like this inspiration from authors, which I always think is really fun. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, beauty videos every Friday. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and the subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!